one of the main differences. Well, Duperos y Tuperas, we have finally come to the end of this group stage here for the MLS is Back tournament. Just like that, a snap of a finger, we are finally at the end. We are playing our last match here in the group stage, and ladies and gentlemen, we did not expect this match to be essentially the match of this tournament. The two best teams, in my honest opinion, facing off Monday night in Orlando, Florida, for the rights to be the champion of Group A. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Parcero Philly. This is DOOP By The River. Today we're going to preview the Union facing off against Orlando City in the final match of Group A. And let's get this started, Pedals. That is right. Welcome everyone to DOOP By The River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. And before we get started, guys, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and this channel to help your favorite Parcero out. And of course, guys, do not forget to check out Philly Sports Network. Head on over to PSN for all your Philly sports needs. Of course, I will leave a link in the descriptions below so you guys can check it out. And of course, don't forget to also subscribe to the DOOP By The River podcast, your favorite podcast, brought to you by the Philly Sports Network podcasting group. Every week we hop on discussing all the hottest topics that has to do with your blue and gold. And of course, guys, today is the preview for our final match of the group stages against Orlando City. And before this tournament even started, some had the Union as one of the dark horse teams to go far in this tournament. I don't think a lot of people expected the Union to be probably the best team or to even win this tournament overall. And then when you're talking about our opponent on Monday night, Orlando City, no one expected what's going on right now with Orlando City. Right now, they look like they are the hottest team. They really are the hottest team. It's one thing to see because, with the Union, we've seen this the past two seasons where they've been hot. They've looked like top tier elite teams in the MLS. But Orlando City, man, we have never really ever seen this from this Orlando City squad ever. And of course, this is an Orlando City team that has never ever in their young history as a franchise, as a club, have never ever qualified for the MLS Cup playoffs. So they're already heading to the next round, and it's crazy to think that Orlando City making their first playoffs in this MLS is Back tournament. Then the coronavirus really helped Orlando City out there. But the main difference here when we're talking about Orlando City, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously a lot of the same pieces from last season are there. But really, the main difference has to be the managing. Oscar Pareja, a Colombian manager, yes sir, a Colombian manager in the MLS. He's really been the main difference with this Orlando City squad. This team really has resonated really well and have responded very well to Oscar Pareja and what he's trying to talk about. His philosophy, his tactics, everything. It really, Orlando City is buying in, and that's really the main reason why they want to fight, they want to play hard, and they want to win for Mr. Oscar Pareja. And for Pareja, obviously he's been around the Colombian leagues. He's been in the Liga MX. He's even been in MLS. Being probably the best manager in FC Dallas history, if we're being honest here. And he is a veteran guy. He knows how to get the most out of players, and he truly has been getting the most out of this Orlando City squad. And really, what sticks out to me the most is Nani and Chris Mueller. Both those players have really been the main difference makers for Orlando City. Nani, when James O'Connor was the manager of Orlando City, really that relationship did not gel as well as we would expect them to. That's a lot of the reason why Orlando City with Nani didn't really succeed. But and same thing. And obviously, what we talked about, Oscar Pareja has really entrusted Nani with this club. He's even he's got the captain's band, and he's playing more as a captain this year, putting the team on his back. You're really seeing the leadership skills by Nani, and that's really one of the main differences for Orlando City. And Chris Mueller as well has been a scoring goal threat for Orlando City thus far, getting a nice little brace in the NYCFC match. So if we're not careful, this is a hungry, disciplined Orlando City squad, and Oscar Pareja is going to have this club ready to play come Monday night. So we need to be ready, ladies and gentlemen, for this Orlando City squad. Now let's talk about us here. So obviously the Union have also been playing very well. Have won their two games as well, beating Miami and NYCFC, just like Orlando City. And for us though, really the main thing that we have to keep an eye out for, the main thing I want to see is obviously the Union just beat Inter Miami in the last match. Just getting the victory, a 2-1 victory, and you heard all the players say that it was nice to get 3 points. Obviously, we move on to the next round, but they could have played better, and they realize and recognize that as well. And you really love seeing the fact that the Union recognize the fact that they need to play better in order to move farther in this in order to bring home the championship. It's the same mantra of last season. Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? And in the Miami match, yes, they won, but they can absolutely do better, and you best believe that they're making the adjustments, that they're going to come out here hungry against Orlando City, and Orlando City better bring the intensity as well, because us here in Philly, we know how to bring that damn intensity. But let's look at the lineup here, the predictions of the lineups here for the Philadelphia. Now, as far as the formation goes, still believe we're going to stick with the 4-4-2 diamond. I don't see any sort of flip-flopping like we saw last season with the Union. I think the 4-4-2 diamond is the base formation, and we're not going to stay away from that. And starting in goal, no surprise here, Mr. Andre Blake. And in the past two matches, Andre Blake has played spectacularly, and he has a lot to do with us being 2-0 thus far this season. The saves he has done, especially in the last minutes when you have the lead and you just need to wrap up this match so you can get those 3 points. He has stood on his head, guys, to get us these 6 points in total that we have had so far in this tournament. So again, this is a much more lethal Orlando City attack, which is a more cohesive unit, have been playing together a little more. The chemistry is a little more stronger as well than Inter Miami and even NYCFC essentially. And so I expect Andre Blake, especially in the second half, the last 10 minutes, Orlando City, depending if we have a lead or not, but Orlando City the whole match is going to keep applying the pressure, and we're going to do everything possible to get the victory here. So Andre Blake needs to have an Andre Blake like type performance. Prove my point right. Prove my point, Andre. You are the best damn goalie in the MLS right now. Prove it, man. All right, let's move on to the back line, guys. Starting from left to right, Mr. Kai Wagner, Mark McKenzie, Jack Elliott, and Ray Gadd. So obviously the question here with the back line is what's going to be the center back pairing, because obviously Jim Kirchner has gone with Mark McKenzie and a combination of Jakob Glesnes or Jack Elliott alongside Mr. McKenzie. And I think that what we need to look at here is the NYCFC match. In the NYCFC match, Mark and Jack looked a little bit more cohesive than Mark and Jakob. No dissing on Jakob's play. It just seemed as if they were on the same page, Mark and Jack, in that first match. So I think that Jim needs to go back to what we're doing in the NYCFC match. Put Mark with Jack, and then if we have the lead in that second half, and someone is a little tired like Brandon Aronson, then you put in Jakob in. So I think that in the end, when we're just trying to get those 3 points, you just go five in the back, kind of like what they've been doing the last two matches, and we will see the 3 center backs at some point this game. But I think to start off, to have a better shot, I think we should go with Mark and Jack as the center back pairing. Kai Wagner, keep doing what you're doing. I just want to see. I will say I would like to see him play a little bit better defensively. I don't know if the goal got to his head, but I think he could have played a little bit better defensively in the last match. And Ray, you do you, Ray. You do you, man. Love you, Ray. All right, let's move on to the midfield, guys. Starting from left to right, and honestly, there's going to be no changes except for one, and we're going to talk about the big news as well. So starting from left to right, we'll see Jamiro Montero at the 6th role. We will see Warren Craval at that right shuttle midfielder, Mr. Alejandro Bedoya, and at the tip of the diamond, we will see Mr. Medford Messi, Brandon Aronson. And so obviously the big news of the past couple of days has been the MLS hammering down the suspension, the disciplinary actions for some of the players in the last round. And our very own Mr. Jose El Brujo Martinez got suspended and fined for his actions in the Inter Miami match. So he will not be available for the Orlando City match. Now, first up, let's just talk about the reasons for why he got suspended. So obviously, if you did watch the Inter Miami match, Jose was a little bit reckless. He was running around like a bull in a china shop. And we talked about it. I've talked about it plenty on this YouTube channel. I've talked about it plenty on the DOOP By The River podcast. I love the intensity Jose El Brujo Martinez brings. He literally sets the tone for the midfield and for the team in general when he's out there. But, Brujito, you need to learn when you need to play at a high intensity. You need to learn when to tone it down. And I will say though, he was at fault. He was at fault for some of the actions that he did. He did get into it with Andres Reyes. He also did get into it with Rodolfo Pizarro. However, and MLS, I need you to be on notice with this as well. There was actions going on from both sides of the ball. It wasn't just El Brujo Martinez. Rodolfo Pizarro was going at El Brujo's nuts. Like, come on, where's this? Why aren't you defending El Brujo here? And Andres Reyes as well. You know, he's gonna get suspended anyways because of the red card. But why aren't you disciplining Rodolfo Pizarro here? So I'm just a little upset that the MLS yet again, going harsh on the Union and not holding the same standards with other clubs in the MLS. So it is what it is. The situation is what it is. But I don't think it's going to affect us too much because Warren Creavalle is a very worthy enough guy to replace El Brujo Martinez. I think offensively he's not as tenacious as El Brujo is, but I feel fully confident with having Warren Creavalle in there for El Brujo Martinez. It's just a little upsetting that we won't be able to. It's just a little upsetting that El Brujo gets suspended, and especially as a guy in a new league, that could shake up the conference. But seeing his comments last night that he put up through his agency, through his agent, it was a little telling, and it was a little reassuring, and it seems as if he's getting it. I think he's starting to learn. He's starting to learn that listen, he needs to know when it is he can turn it up and when it is he needs to just tone it down a little bit. So he knows, in the future, if he does something like this again, it could really hurt our chances for winning on the pitch, and he's starting to get it. So I think you can definitely see the maturity from Jose El Brujo Martinez, and he's just gonna have to adapt. Especially when you're a South American, what people need to realize is that where El Brujo comes from. He comes from poverty. He comes from Venezuela, and this is a guy who's just grinding and just playing the way he knows. When you're talking about countries with a lot of poverty and soccer players who are just trying to make it, they're doing everything possible to get there. And he still has that mentality. Like, he wants to be at the top. Like, just making it into the United States, leaving your situation is not enough for him. So I commend him for that part, but we just need to learn how to just tone it down a notch. For the rest of the midfield, I expect the same thing. Brandon Aronson has really impressed a lot of people. That second half in the Inter Miami match, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and we need to continue seeing more of that. Jamiro Montero, again, those two seem to be clicking now. We talked about in the preview, I need him to click a little bit more, and I think I did see it in the Inter Miami match. And Nathaniel Bedoya, man, we don't need to say anything about our captain. Keep doing what you're doing too, my man. But this midfield is the responsibilities are going to intensify in this match. Orlando play a little bit more organized, especially in that 4-4-2 that they have. It's a base 4-4-2, and they're going to keep that pressure up as well. So this midfield needs to play organized, needs to play cohesive, and I have full confidence in these four in our midfield here that they're going to get the job done. Up top, guys, no surprise, Kasper Shibilko and Mr. Sergio Santos Gomes. For Sergio Santos, he obviously, as we know, in the beginning of the second half, he got subbed off, like literally not even a minute into the second half, he got subbed off for El Sino, and it was a little worrisome. But Jim didn't come out in the press conference after the match saying that it's just for precautionary reasons. He was on the ground for a little bit in the near the end of the first half. He did continue playing. but there's no need to risk a further injury. We're here to win the tournament. So, just winning one match is not enough for us. We came here to win. So preserving Sergio Santos is an utmost importance here. And we talked about it plenty as well. The partnership with Casper and Sergio is really clicking for both of them, and we need to make sure that those two are on the same page and those two are on the pitch ready to play. All right, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is the hardest match that we're going to deal with so far in this tournament. Orlando City have come into this tournament playing possessed. We've never seen an Orlando City club, play this well. So disciplined, they're motivated, and they have a manager behind them that is really what they've needed. I believe Oscar Pareja is going to have this team ready to play here in this match against the Union. Both sides know what's at stake here. It's nice to move on to the next round, and it's great, but, getting the bragging rights of Group A, getting a little bit easier opponent in that first match in the round of 16, that's crucial as well. I think the key is going to be whether or not Orlando City can match our intensity. You saw Inter Miami, in desperation mode, being able to match the intensity of the Philadelphia Union, and that's why they were in the game for as long as they were. Can Orlando City match the intensity we have? We came here to win. We came here to be the top team in this tournament here. Is Orlando City ready to come in and do that? Obviously, with the Union, we've seen a more sustained amount of success. We saw this all last season with the Union. We haven't really seen this with Orlando City. So in the end, I believe that Union in this tournament from day one have been playing extremely motivated, and they came here on a mission. And I think the Union are going to continue that mission here. And I think that the most important part is the depth that this Philadelphia Union squad has is going to go a long way. And that is why I believe our Philadelphia Union will walk away here with a W here. Final score, in my honest opinion, will be a 3-2 victory for the Union. It's going to be a really hard match. There's going to be a little bit of a shootout as well. But when we're talking about talking about the best teams in this tournament, it's definitely been Orlando and Philly. So I believe we're going to get our money's worth here, guys. It's all I got for you today. Let me know in the comments below, how do you guys feel about the Union going into this Orlando City match? This tough, or when have we ever said it's going to be a tough match against Orlando City? Just tell me, when was the last time we have said this, playing Orlando City is going to be tough? But hey, times have changed. This tournament has been changing. Orlando City, playing in their home city, even though it's not their home stadium, really have been playing extremely motivated. So let me know what you guys feel about that, and let me know your thoughts on the El Brujo suspension. We'll end up seeing mixed reactions from Union fans, but I want to hear from you in the comments below. Let's talk about that. Your thoughts on the El Brujo suspension. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me, but please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button for notifications, as well as sharing this video and this channel to help your favorite parcero grow. And of course, guys, don't forget to head on over to PSN for all your Philly sports needs. I will leave the link in the descriptions below so you guys can check out Philly Sports Network. And please, guys, subscribe to the DOOP By The River podcast. We have our episode this week previewing the Orlando City match with JJ from Orlando's Lions Den, the top Orlando City podcast down there. So don't forget to check that out. We will have that out literally in a matter of minutes on Friday afternoon. Guys, thanks again for watching. I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys to DOOP on. Let's go, baby. Bring back 3 points, Union. Woo!